7 o'clock, I'll call this meeting to order. Would you all join me in the salute for 5 seconds?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a reminder to the viewing audience, the call-in number is 930-8189. 930-8189. It's time to take a roll call. Doug and Aaron are absent this evening. Item 4 on the agenda. Acceptance of September 6th meeting minutes.
I make a motion we accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded to accept the minutes as printed. Any discussion on the motion? And then I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? 3-0. Item 5, acceptance of agenda.
There's one 11th hour item that's come up to talk about the recreation program in soccer.
Recreation and soccer?
Part of recreation, yeah.
Okay. That it, James?
That's it.
Take a motion on the agenda.
Make a motion we accept the agenda as amended.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded to accept the agenda as amended. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? 3-0. Now entertaining a motion to go from regular agenda to a public hearing on a liquor license for Seaside Blacksmith Restaurant.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to go from our regular agenda to public hearing to discuss liquor license for the Seaside Blacksmith Restaurant. James, what we have?
Yeah, I have the application here. The signature page is held out. No complaints, no issues. I did speak with the owners. The permit was actually due to expire. We wrote a letter to make an extension, and I've had no issue. Talked to the chief. Everything's running smoothly there.
Nick, you want to look at that? Any comments from the public on this?
I'll hold it here. You seen it?
Yeah.
I'll hold it here.
We haven't had any, there's never been any complaints or anything
No
filed
complaints.
at that location, has there?
No.
Seeing there's no further comments, I'll take a motion that we adjourn from our public hearing and go back to our regular agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to go from public hearing back to our regular agenda. All those in favor? Now entertaining motion on the application for the liquor license.
I'll make a motion that the liquor license be approved as presented.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded to approve the liquor license for Seaside Blacksmith Restaurant. Any discussion from the ward? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? 3-0, Jim. Item 8, open to public.
Yes,
Mr.
I
King.
would like to address the board.
Certainly.
What I would like to address the board about is the tax bill that I get every year. And I'm happy with it. However, I would like to see the tax bill another year. I get one tax bill, but I have two payments on it. I have a timeshare in Ellsworth that occurs on that tax bill. I understand it occurs in Stockton Springs also. I'm not sure whether it occurs in Belfast. I have the option, if I wish to, pay the bill all at once. But if I don't wish to do that, I can pay one payment in either September or early October, and the next one 5 or 6 months later. And I would like to see a warrant on the town meeting to have the townspeople vote for such a billing. 2 bills, but only mailed out once with 2 payments on it. It's done in surrounding areas. I've talked to James already about this, and I see nothing wrong with it.
Okay, now you're not talking about mandatory 2 payments, this would be an option.
No, it's
Okay,
an
just-
optional. It's
be
an
an option,
optional
okay.
2 payments. If I choose to do the option with 2 payments, I make one payment in either late September or late October, and I make another payment in whatever time frame is set.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a reasonable time, 3 or 4 months later. If I opt to pay one payment, I still do that like I do right now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now I understand a lot of people having trouble paying their taxes. It would give them an opportunity to pay half once and half later on.
I think it's a good idea. When I lived in Bar Harbor, it was like that. You could make 2
And I
payments
see
without
nothing
penalty.
wrong with at least trying that for a year or 2 and see how it works. I don't believe there'd be a great loss of income from the town, and it might make it a little easier for people to swallow that tax bill instead of coming up with the money just before heating season starts. Come up with only half of it and pay the other half later on when the heating season is nearing an end.
James, would that hurt our financial
No, but
situation?
there's two different factors here. Like Stockton is a no longer a calendar year town, so their billing cycle, and I believe Ellsworth is the same. Their it being a fiscal year town, their taxes are committed differently than ours. We can produce a bill and send it with an approximate half rate. It costs around $1,600 to do that, and to do it in one bill, like what Percy's talking about, those are towns that have fiscal year that's different than ours. We tried 11 years ago to introduce changing our fiscal year from calendar to fiscal. We did a straw poll at town meeting, and it was overwhelmingly shot down. So, but as far as billing twice, we can do that. It would be an approximation, maybe half of what last year's taxes were in one billing cycle, perhaps in April or May, and then a second one. It could actually help greatly with cash flow. The reason I pitched the change of the fiscal year 11 years ago was for cash flow purposes, because we borrow a pretty sizable tax anticipation note, and those towns that are on this cycle, on the fiscal year, can actually bill this way and almost eliminate the need for tax anticipation note. That was a concern 12 years ago because we were paying $18,000 and $20,000 in interest. We've now paid, because of the markets, about $4,000 or $5,000 in interest. So the urgent need to save that money went away. So, but 2 billings, completely possible.
Why couldn't you just have one billing with the 2 coupons in it?
Because we commit the taxes later in the year. We don't know what your tax bill is until about a week before we send it. So,
Because I own property in Waldo, and I'm not eligible for 2 payments because I'm not a resident. But for residents, they have 2 things on there.
Yeah,
They can pay it all at one time, or they can pay it in
yeah.
2 installments.
All we can do to send 2 bills is estimate what, or base it on half of what your last year's rate was and send out a billing. But it would literally be 2 billings. We couldn't do it on the same page because we're a calendar year town.
Mm-hmm.
My concern would be not getting the revenue in here and going to a TAN, which increases the costs.
I think at some point we're obviously going to pay more in interest, and at some point in the future it makes good sense to go back to the public. Here's the key to changing your fiscal year. The Board of Selectmen themselves have the authority to do that without the permission of the town. Some towns have exercised that. What you have to do is you either have to have a 6-month year or an 18-month year. We were opting for an 18-month year to try to stretch it out, and but we went straw poll, and it wasn't even close. I think we had about 350 people there that year, and I think 299.
The problem with this, with the straw vote, was the people that were here to say, don't change it. The people that wanted to change are snowbirds. They're down in Florida. They would like to come back and see things up here.
And I think
our annual meeting in the summer.
I believe that's why the law is set up, that you can take that decision without a thing, but you also can't ignore basically the will of the people, and it wasn't even close.
So it wasn't a true will of the
But
people.
would we have to change town meeting date?
Yes.
That inherently is the problem.
That
Your
was
town
the
meeting
problem.
moves back to June.
No, but, yeah, a lot of people didn't want that.
A lot of traditionalists out there that don't want
Right.
it too, not because they want to.
Match town meeting.
They don't want to not include. They're not trying to, cut people out. It's just that traditionally, that's what you do in March. You cabin fever relievers go to town meeting and argue with your neighbors.
100 years ago, they weren't running down to Florida. They had to knuckle down here.
They were here.
They were here.
So it can be done. It can be done without going to town meeting. It can be. Are you on the budget committee still?
But I'm not on the budget committee anymore.
What?
You jumped off.
I know, I'm not on the budget committee anymore. I'm not on the school board anymore either.
We could put that in the budget if you want to. We could do another straw poll, or I mean, I think it's something later in this agenda. There's going to be a workshop planned, and I think that should be top of the workshop too.
And only as a suggestion, as opposed to if we can do that without changing the fiscal year of the town, then at town meeting or somewhere along the line, have a straw poll. How many of you'd like to see a tax bill be able to be paid in 2 payments?
So you're saying we can't make the tax bill payable in 2 payments without changing?
Oh yeah, we can make a
physical
payment. We
year.
can make a payment every week if we want to.
You can't put them on the same sheet. Like Percy gets one bill, has a rip off, and you rip off. That's good. It has a tear off section that says you can pay it in April, or you can pay it. What it doesn't do, it doesn't change the parameters for foreclosure. You have a date that they're due, final due. So if you want to ignore the first payment, you just make the second payment and you avoid the lien process. The lien process triggers when the final payment is due, and you don't have. There's no hybrided double lien program. It's
Oh, yeah. No,
there's a final date.
That would
this
be,
one to do.
that would be a big mess.
But because if we stay on a calendar year, we will definitely have to produce another billing to send out, and that would be an estimate. And it could still work. I mean, Percy's not the first or only person to ask for more than one billing
Oh, it's a lot of money for a lot of people to come up with at one time.
at one time. Correct.
But, we all have the option of prepaying anytime.
Oh, I understand that
Yeah.
option is prepaid, but
Right.
and my taxes aren't bad, but there are people that
Yeah,
have good sized tax bills, and maybe they could appreciate that. I don't know, but I just see if other towns can do it, then I think we should be able to do it. Have some empathy for the people who pay the bills. And if they can pay it in 2 payments, let them pay it in 2 payments. And I think I heard Jim say that some of those towns were precluded from having to borrow money. So if you pay an extra $1,600 to bill out, but you don't have a $5,000 interest payment on a loan, then haven't you saved money?
Well, I know Laurel has their town meeting in March, and they do that billing, and they owe no debt. I'm always surprised on their tax bill that they owe nothing, because they don't spend a lot of money over there. You
No,
see
they
their
don't.
roads.
No, they don't.
No.
Yeah, just something for thought. And I mean, and I would. And you have the authority, so that it doesn't have to go onto the town meeting on the warrant. But and again, that's up to you. I don't want to go to an extreme, but I might if I have to, and get a petition drive up that says we want the payments and 2 payments and have it on the warrant. I don't think I should have to do that though.
Okay.
But,
Like James said, we are gonna be talking about scheduling a workshop here on
okay,
on this
and
agenda, and that will be a topic.
are those workshops open to the general public?
Oh, yes, all of the meetings are,
Are they posted at the post office?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, so if I read it down there on the wall,
Mhm.
I won't be. I thank you for your time.
Appreciate you coming up first.
Now, you people have a good evening.
See you, Richard.
See you later.
No, I'm not invited back.
We can get you back on there.
Have we filled all the spots on the BAC? Yeah, full right
Hey, item 9, old business, Route 1 speed change request.
This doesn't require a vote. I wanted to bring the letter back to you. Writing a letter to David Allen, the traffic engineer for our district. We, the Searsport Board of Selectmen, met on September 6, 2016, and heard concerns from residents of Route 1 on both east and west side of the village. The concerns revolved around a couple of very serious accidents, one of which was a fatality. The residents have asked that the Board of Selectmen reach out to you and see if you would please look at the speed zones in each of these areas and consider whether they should be reduced. Thank you. Respectfully submitted by the Board of Selectmen. And if that meets approval, if you could sign it, I'll get the additional 2 signatures later in the week when we get it out.
now. As Route 1 grows, eventually they've got to knock that speed limit down.
Yeah, I even had a complaint today from a resident on the east side of town concerned about Long Cove in particular, and I will talk to the chief about that. It appears that they're picking up their speed again. Mark knows, he's right on the end of it, so they must come zipping by you pretty quick.
Yeah.
So.
I noticed though the PD has been over there quite a bit.
At night, you
Monitoring.
can, our bedrooms are on the front of the house, and at night you just whizzing by.
Okay, item 10, new business. 10A reevaluation for 2017, discussion.
But I wanted to start the discussion about a town-wide reevaluation. We are overdue for this process. Bill, Harriet, and I agree that developing an RFP for bid now is the best course of action. We have $27,423.26 in the reevaluation reserve. It is estimated that a reevaluation for Searsport will cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $150,000 or more. I recommend the additional funds be drawn from the retirement reserve account. These are undesignated funds returned to us by the Maine State Retirement System. With town meeting approval, we did use some of these funds to repair the wharf. This account actually has $463,271.44 in it. We will need to go to town meeting to get an approval for an expenditure from this fund. The way that was set up as a reserve account, it does require town meeting action, but as you can see, in the course of 13 or so, 14 years, we've only managed to be able to put away $27,000. Even if one of our problems with reval is the fact that we're an industrial town, so it's going to cost a little bit more. And at this point, our reval would not only be the reval, but it would be the whole course of action in revaluation. The successful bidder would be here to hear the complaints and the hearings from the public if they had a concern about their values either going up or down. The other thing is the bid would include going computerized for us, plugging in those values and plugging in the attributes of properties into the Trio system, so we would be fully automated. Right now we have a paper system. We would maintain a paper system, cards and such, but we want to be able to have it on computer, so it's just a seamless between tax billing and the public. And when you get your tax bill, you actually get a little bit more information about what you're being valued on. So
Now, would that computerized system stay with us once the
Absolutely.
reval is done?
Yep. Yeah, they go right out with the computer right in their car. They type out the attributes right into the system, and it's saved. They download it to us, and we have a complete record of the town at that point. So it's a little bit more expensive than, say, the last time we went to reval, but it's really where we need to be, and we all concur. Talk to Bill, talk to Harriet, and we all agree. And we have to start this process now, talk about it, probably talk a little bit more in workshop about it, so that we can get it underway for 2017. We need town approval, so it doesn't look like we would be able to start until March, unless we could maybe kick off some of the industrial ahead of time. There's a couple of things I want to talk to the board about, whether to kick the industrial out first under the monies that we have in the reval account, and then get the rest of it backed up. There's a couple of ways to do it, but I really do want to have people start hearing reval, because it will help us. It will capture values of things that have been built that we haven't seen because of the building process. Not everybody comes in and gets a building permit, although they should. Some things are built without that. We actually came across the camp in the middle of a property that never pulled a permit, and so it wasn't being taxed. So those things, they're very in-depth, and I don't think it should have the effect of reducing our mill rate.
If the industrial that was done first, then would it go out to separate bid for the industrial and the residential?
It's likely that it could. Not everyone out in the assessing world has expertise in industrial work,
Yeah,
so
I would think that.
that's why it may be logical to split them, get a good val on the industry, and then move on to the residential. But
So you're requesting to start writing up a RFP?
I have a few samples, and part of that's going to, like I say, we'll pull this into the workshop, because maybe we'll have one of the assessors come in and talk to you about the idea of dividing it. And I'm not completely clear on whether that's the best course of action, but we've had some interest. I don't think there's going to be any problem finding a vendor to bid on it, and we are overdue. It should be done about every 10 years. So.
Do other towns do their revals this way, or do they use in-house staff?
Almost all from outside. It gives you some cover. You had some outside eyes. You live here a long time. I take my wife down Mount Ephraim Road, and she'll ask me, when was that house built? A few months ago. She's always surprised because she's missed it, but you don't see what's in your backyard because you see it every day. That's why it's really good to have outside. Plus, having the hearing process, it's a total package. It's really good for us. So that's just the discussion.
Okay. Any comments from the board?
No,
I'll
I
move on.
think that we're going the right way.
Okay.
Sounds good.
10B, quit claim deed.
Yeah, account 790. It's an account that is up to date. It's been paid off. In a recent title search done by a company, they discovered that there was an discharged lien from 2004, and they're asking if we would do a quick claim deed. The paperwork is on its way. It's just, I wanted to approve it tonight so we don't hold up that process. It's free and clear. They owe nothing to us, so. But it needs an official vote.
Do we need a motion on this?
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll make a motion that we approve a quick claim deed for account number 790, since it's paid in full to the town.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and seconded to issue a quit claim deed to account number 790. All those in favor? There you go. And the request from Randy Hall, James.
Yeah, Randy would like to continue working with Kristen Collins. Kristen has moved from her office in Belfast to Peretti Flaherty. And she can't, I can't authorize it, and she can't do anything for him or us until we get approval from the board. Although she sent me a letter which, for my signature, if you agree to continue working with her on land use issues, you'll need to authorize for my signing of it.
Well, I'll throw in that she worked with us on the planning board, and I thought she was very knowledgeable and on top of things, and I would recommend her.
I'll make a motion that we go ahead and take the necessary steps to continue with her, even though she's moved. Where is this company that she's working for now?
Area somewhere, isn't it?
Yeah, where's that?
Augusta.
Oh, Augusta.
Do I hear a second on the motion?
Dick made it.
Oh, Dick made it, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I talked about it, yeah, okay, I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Yep.
Motion been made and seconded to continue with Kristen Collins as legal advisor to our CEO. All in favor? 3-0. Fire Department rescue vehicle.
Yeah, our rescue vehicle, which was purchased 4 or 5 years ago with the Homeland Security grant, has a major engine problem. The heads are gone on it. It's going to be a very expensive repair. It's estimated to be in excess of $10,000 with parts and labor. It's what Ford had produced a 6.0 diesel, and I've actually done some research on that because I was interested in buying one at one time. But from what I understand, and from our experience with this motor, it's probably not worth fixing. Our ambulance, our box ambulance, had a 6.0 diesel in it, and we were constantly replacing injector packs. I mean, it was always being fixed, and eventually the head and the valley, and the board decided to re-chassis the unit. The ambulance director recommended that we do that. We sent it out. We had the body taken off, and we slid in another cab underneath it, and remounted it. When the chief approached me and said, you know, the head's blown, the first thing I asked him was, is there any way that we could get some estimates on trading this in now? Even though it's broke, there's value, and sending it down the road. I don't want to spend money on this motor over and over and over again like we did with the ambulance. It would be better, in my opinion, to let it go, get what we can out of it, and get a vehicle that we can have for the next 20 years. Our original hope when we got this was that it would be a 20-year vehicle, but that motor is, it's a board decision, but it's our recommendation not to continue with it. The reserve account for replacement of fire equipment has $79,364.74. The estimates that we're getting we actually went out to 3. This is not an off-the-lot truck that you can buy. This isn't a pickup truck with a bed. This is a heavy-duty vehicle with a box-style utility box on it. This vehicle actually gets more use for the fire department than the engines or the tankers do, because it goes to everything. It carries our rescue equipment. It tows our various trailers, including the foam trailer. Right now, if we needed to take the foam trailer to an accident scene or to the port, we'd be relying on somebody responding with a heavy enough pickup truck to be able to tow it. Generally, Andy has that, but we should, if Andy weren't available, I don't know who the second person in line would be who would have a truck. We'd probably be calling on the highway department or maybe the water district to bring something down to tow it, because those are heavy trailers. So the estimates that we've received thus far, if you're interested in hearing the deals, a couple of companies, there's a Dodge Ram out there with a $7,500 trade. There's a Ford at another company with a $7,500 trade. There is another Ford out there with, and these are all new units, with a $10,225 trade. The difference after trade are the $10,000 trade vehicle has a price tag of $52,695. The other two, the other Ford is $54,500 and the Dodge is $53,200.
Would we be we wouldn't be reusing the box then?
No, these all have box units on them.
I see.
We did buy that box separate from, we bought cab and chassis the last time we did it. But these are actually specialty vehicles for that purpose.
We can't re-chassis that. It's not.
Well, we wouldn't need to. We wouldn't need to because we'd be getting a chassis. We'd be getting the whole unit together. We went this route at the time because when we had the grant money, there were no. Jim Dittmeyer was chief, and we went to a couple of dealers. All we could get was a heavy-duty pickup truck. I made the recommendation to him, let's go to a cab and chassis if we can do it. And we did find this one available and moved on it. So, but now, that was in an off time. There were no trucks on the lots that fit what we needed. Now these three companies have them rolled right out, ready to go. So
Well, I've been reading some good reports of how Dodges lately. If we was to go with the Dodge, that would be approximately,
Was that the 53.5?
that is. Well, first, I think the decision needs to be made. Do we want to repair or replace?
right, but I'm just wondering,
And I guess that's first. If we go by the prices received, if we go by the low bid, the low bid is a Ford. The Dodge is in between that and the other Ford at $53,200.
It's less than $1,000 difference.
And I asked the chief this afternoon, what did he feel? We talked about, I got more information I wanted. We talked about the merits of the Cummins diesel engine, which has been around forever, and the new Ford 6.7 engine, which has been around for about 5 years and has proven itself to be just about bulletproof. So he says by the two vehicles, they're both good. They both are pretty well proven.
Did he give you any information on lease to purchase?
Not much. One of the things that I think he came up with was they weren't available for this style of vehicle. But I don't have that definitively, Dick. We could try a little harder. From what he was told by the salesman, they wouldn't even consider it. So.
What is the difference between the two Fords?
I don't have spec sheets on the second one. I only have a spec sheet on the first, and a spec sheet on the Dodge. This is actually like happening in real time.
Mm-hmm.
His third bid came in actually today, and I didn't see him after he got it. So
None of these are dualies, right? They're all single wheel on the rear?
hang on, I'm not sure.
that one that's down, that is a General Motors product, am I correct?
No, it's a Ford.
That is a
It's
Ford.
a Ford with the 6-liter.
I've been in that, that was a good riding truck.
Excellent riding truck.
Yeah.
We love the truck. We just, this does not indicate whether it's a dually or not.
Okay, all right.
If you wanted to leave it, if you want to replace it, and you just give authorization to the chief to choose what he would like to have, you could do an up to amount, and leave it at that. My hope is that because we're going to spend a good amount out of a budget that's used to buy equipment, we're leaving enough in there if there was an emergency or a repair that was needed. But in the next budget cycle, I would like to add another at least $10,000 to that reserve to recoup this money within 5 years, almost like a lease, like what Dick's talking about. But if we commit to that, we can in 5 years have gotten us back up to where we were.
Now, these amounts include the trade-in, right?
Correct.
This is after the 7,500, 10,000, this is what we're left with.
Correct. Yep.
I would definitely put my faith in Andy making a decision because of his background and what would best serve the fire department.
Yeah, that's
Better
why I
than-
asked him what he liked best, because
Yeah,
he's the
better
mechanic.
than me trying to make it. And
Right.
You guys probably feel the same.
Yep.
Yep, I think that's a good idea.
He's going to actually be the one who's going to be using it.
So what's your suggestion, James? Maybe like 55,000?
I think that would be fair, because beyond what we do, I know they're gonna have to put some kind of lettering on it to identify it as a
Right.
fire truck and switch lights out and stuff. It's got a new radio, it's got new light systems and everything, but, you know, they're gonna have to put a little bit more money into it to set it up, and I'd cap it. I'd say that's the amount they gotta work with. If they have to stripe it or light it over a period of a couple of years, let them do it then. Put it in the regular operating budget. This is a good time to mention that we should be saving money this coming year on the purchase of SCBA equipment, because the fire department applied for and just received a $25,000 grant from the Tabitha King Foundation to replace SCBA equipment. So
Good.
we will have a little bit of reprieve from that, hopefully, for a couple of years, and money saved there could be put towards upgrading whatever they need to do with this. But immediately, the lights and the radio have to be put in. So I
But
think
those,
that's a fair
those can come off the old one.
They're already there. Yeah.
Right.
I got the wrong figures here. I have a Ford at 62 and a half and another Ford at 54 and a half. Those were the,
Nope. The three that I had was.
I'm looking for the highest figure so we can say up here.
Yeah. Okay. That gives him the ability to go as high as he has to. The highest figure was 54.5.
54.5, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And the lowest was 52.6, 95.
52, I had 62, that's where I picked
Yeah.
up 10 grand. All right. I'm ready for a motion unless anybody wants to talk some more.
I'll make a motion that we authorize up to 55,000, allowing Andy to make the final decision.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded to allow the fire chief to spend up to 55,000 to replace the rescue vehicle. All those in favor? 3-0. Scheduling a workshop. I think next week's fairly busy week, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pretty bad. And the following week is the MMA convention, but and the selectmen's meeting on the 4th. So
Right.
the 11th of October is wouldn't be bad. I mean, these are important things to talk about. We've got to talk about foreclosed properties and the reval property billing. But October 11th would give us,
Okay,
that's the day after Columbus Day, so
and that is the third,
second.
second Tuesday.
Yeah.
$6:30. I'm good, I'm good with it.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm okay with it.
okay. That's when we schedule in for, Jim.
Okay.
That's not the night you're talking to the historical society, is it?
Did not,
October 11th? That's not your night, is it?
geez, I don't know, they haven't told me.
Okay, I know you present something once in a while.
Yeah. The 11th hour.
Yeah, I'm seeking permission to pay stipends for our soccer program coaches. We are stepping up the, well, this is a bit of a departure. We haven't done that in the past, and I actually met with a couple of the coaches earlier tonight, and they certainly weren't asking for stipend, but appreciate the gesture if we can get it passed. We are probably asking a little bit more of them than years past because the season's right on us. They're going to have some additional needs, and they're going to have to work hard with the public to find, and the parents, their fellow parents, to find referees and such. We'll still do the administrative work. We'll still make phone calls and do what we need, but I thought, you know, stipending, we can afford it. 40 kids have signed up for the program so far. We expect more, and it's about, I think it's $25 a kid. So there's some funding coming in to offset what we want to do, but I can't do that without seeking permission of the board to stipend the program.
Do you have a recommendation as to the stipend amount?
I'm thinking just based off from about 30 hours of work, roughly 35 hours, $10 an hour is $300. Pretty fair. I mean, they may be a little less, but they may be a little bit more.
300
as far as the hours.
times 2 or 300 times just 300.
Each person, yeah. Each
600.
person. So $600. If there's 2, we may end up with 3. If we need 3, there'll be additional money coming in because we'll trigger that when there's enough kids. So it kind of washes itself out. Recreation is going to be tough this year. It has been, just has been. So.
And you have the people to do it, right?
2 excellent coaches who've been doing it for a number of years, and we're a bit surprised at the recommendation, but I know finding that next one, if they trigger enough people, is probably going to be hard. Our biggest problem with recreation from day one, except for these fellows, has been finding volunteers. And it'd be helpful to say we appreciate it. It's not really covering a lot for them. It's a big commitment for them. So.
Anyone care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion and we authorize town manager to offer that stipend, $300 per coach 2 times
2 or more, maybe.
or more.
Yeah, it's not really the 2 that are the problem. It's that
I was just
third
trying,
one that
just trying to hold back.
Oh,
a
I
little
want to
bit.
hold back too.
Okay,
And
is it going to be based on the number of hours? So it's not 300 if they don't do it?
They'll get it in there.
It can
I'm sure.
fluctuate.
Okay.
I was
So-
being a little bit generous with the hours. These guys, there's a setup time, there's a practice time, there's a close down, clean up time, There's a waiting for the parents to show up time.
Okay,
I-
so
I
they
speak from
they heard it
experience.
then.
A
Okay.
long time ago, I did this for recreation as a volunteer, and I'll tell you, it is a huge commitment, and I can't tell you, I appreciate what they do. I've done it. I know firsthand, so it's really token to say we'll give you a stipend to
More of an
do it.
appreciation
Showing
stipend.
our appreciation.
I will second Dick's motion.
Okay, motion been made and seconded to offer stipends to the coaches for soccer. Any more discussion? All those in favor? Item 12, correspondence.
I have two items in correspondence. The first is from the Municipal Review Committee. It's a candidate nomination form. If anyone would like to become part of the Municipal Review Committee, get back to me and let me know. We're not staying with that program. We're going to stay with PERC, so I don't know if we really need to have representation on that board. The second item is from Maine Municipal Association. It's an invitation to us to participate in the, or to attend the candidates forum, which will be held on September 28th at the Hutchinson Center at 6:30. They also need to clarify, they're the wrong date at the bottom of the form.
Yeah, I saw that.
It is September 28th. That's it.
You're not up this year, are you?
I am.
You are up. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'll be there.
Take a motion on the treasurer's warrant.
I'll make a motion that we approve the treasurer's warrants as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded to approve the treasurer's warrant upon signature. All those in favor? Department head reports.
Department heads. Have you read the fire chiefs
Yes.
about the shingles coming off the new roof?
Yes, and that's been reported.
Is that under any type of warranty?
Yes.
Right.
In fact, they're heavier shingles, and it really shouldn't have come loose, so we reported that out.
And they had a high volume of ambulance runs this month too.
They did.
Yep. I'll make a motion, we accept the department head reports as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded to accept the department head reports. All those in favor? Selectmen's report. Richard.
Not much, I did get a call from the fireworks people last week wanting us to commit because they have to make sure they have enough trained people for these fireworks for the 4th of July, so we will be shooting on the 4th of July and the rain date is that Saturday night. That's all I got.
I don't have anything other than that I noticed both of our new businesses looks like they're getting very close to completion, and I guess Ron Matthews not going to be moving the U-Hauls up to the new locations. So
Oh, he's not?
they've discontinued U-Haul.
I just have one thing I was asked to bring up. Brag a little bit for the fire department. Some of the members of the fire department went down to York a week ago to the Maine State Convention, and hand engine pumps got one, took another first place trophy. 4th year in a row now she's taken that, so congratulations to them. That's all I have.
I have one thing that, when you bring up fire department, I spoke with the chief, very short conversation. Would fire department be interested in trying to acquire a piece of steel from the 9/11, one of the towers?
Mhm.
And he says, take a look, see what it involves. Today I got a call from Ellsworth on another matter, but I was speaking to the chief and I says, hey, you guys got a piece, what's involved, and he told me all about it, and then I had to go down and deliver something to him. And they have a piece, and it's really amazing. It's about almost as long as this table. It's an I-beam, big son of a gun, and it's got a bow in it. And it's got bolts that are smashed and everything, some of that steel is mangled. And it's got a number on it because every piece of stuff that they could salvage has a number, it's all recorded. And he went through the whole process of what it takes, what it took them to get it. So I'm gonna have another talk with the chief and see, it's like a 2-year process. You got so much paperwork.
Oh, yeah.
And to get from the gate down there in New York to the pile, wherever they're giving you that piece, you gotta have liability insurance galore. It was very interesting what they went through to get it, but it's really, the way they've got it displayed is really great. If you're
Brewer
down,
has got a piece too.
Yeah, Brewers, I know Brewer
Yeah.
had a piece.
Yeah.
some of the towns have got two.
Rockland just received a piece.
But if you're down there, then I'm sure they'll let you go in and take a look at it. They have it on wheels. They were afraid to leave it out. They were afraid of vandalism. So they got it on wheels.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, what a shame.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying we're gonna do it, but we'll probably have a talk on it.
Yeah, right. That was good day. Any comments? Rick? I make a motion, we go for our regular agenda then into executive session according to MRSA 1056F, confidential general assistance matter, and 1056C, economic development discussion.
Second.
All those in favor? Okay, make a motion, we exit executive session, go back to our regular agenda.
So moved.
All those in favor? I make a motion that we, for WP 1606, we give the sum of $300.
Second,
Jenny Lawrence.
Jenny Lawrence.
Okay, do all three of these once, can't we, James?
Yes, you can.
1607, $700, and WP 1608, $300.
Second.
All those in favor? I'll now entertain a motion on economic development activities. I'll make a motion.
You wanna do it or you?
You can, yeah.
Okay, I get the correct wording. I make a motion that we approve Dean Bennett for economic development at this time, 2 days a week.
I'll second that motion then.
Motion been made and seconded to enter an agreement with Mr. Dean Bennett to work with us on economic development 2 days a week. Any discussion? All those in favor? 3-0.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second that.
Motion been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor?